If you're someone like me who's lifeless and has no friends whatsoever, then you've probably spent countless of hours watching the incredible Dragon Ball battles, emotional moments, and jaw-dropping transformations that make the Dragon Ball franchise so amazing. But what about the villains? These characters are more than just obstacles. They often embody the very essence of the challenges that the Dragon Team must overcome. Now, as you know, I already made a video last time on how every Dragon Ball movie villain was defeated. That video was strictly discussing the story behind every main movie antagonist. This time, however, I'm going to discuss every single main villain / antagonist in the original Dragon Ball timeline. That includes Dragon Ball Z, Super, and even GT. Dragon Ball Daima is still running as of me making this video, so perhaps it can be included later on. I'm going to include only antagonists that were actually defeated, so characters like Beerus, or Hit, and even Tien from Dragon Ball won't be counted. I will only count characters who had the arc revolved around them, or characters that were considered as the final boss in their respective arcs. Also, I will include a point system for fun, where we award each character 1 point for every main villain defeated. Although the winner is pretty obvious, it should still be fun, as I will mention at the end of the video every character on how many points they have. But other than that, there are many villains in the Dragon Ball world, so without further ado, let's not waste any more time. Mercenary Tao was the major antagonist in the Commander Red saga. Tao was a highly skilled assassin with abnormal power level for a human. In fact, according to the Daizenshu, Tao Pai Pai was born in age 459, and since he debuted in age 750, that would make him approximately 291 years old. Now, there are many theories on how he lived this long, whether it was the elixir of immortality or the paradise herb that Master Roshi was said to acquire. One thing is certain, Tao is a ruthless man. He once said he's willing to kill any man, woman, and even children. You know this dude is a psychopath when he wears the Chinese kanji symbol for kill on his clothes. Being a skilled assassin, Tao has performed insane feats for a mere human. This dude is so strong that his method of traveling consists of him breaking a log with the tip of his toes, then launches that log so powerfully that he gets to jump on top of it and travel long distances. It was even said that he could travel through continents using this method. Honestly man, if you're strong enough to throw something that hard with your arms, you might as well just use your legs and jump. I mean, unless... I'm honestly convinced he does this just as a flex. Speaking of flexing, when someone tries to murder Tao as he's walking by, not only does Tao's killing instinct kick in and realizes someone is attempting to take on his life, but he reacts so fast by lifting his feet, tossing his shoe in the air, and deflect the bullet right back at the enemy for a headshot. He does that so nonchalantly and seamlessly that his shoe falls right back into his foot. This is some Ultra Instinct stuff. Tao was so powerful that he managed to defeat General Blue, who challenged Tao into a fight. Mercenary Tao tells him that he won't use his hands or feet to defeat him, and he does just that, as he seemingly kills General Blue with his tongue. I mean, Tao is seriously the first villain in the series who was actually a threat to Goku. In fact, he beats him in their first encounter. But unfortunately for General Tao, he's not dealing with a normal human being. He's fighting against an alien space monkey who has the ability to get stronger after being defeated. Goku comes back after training and absolutely overpowers Mercenary Tao. That's when Tao pretends to surrender, in order to trick Goku for a split second. While Goku's asking Upa if he thinks they should let him go, Tao throws a grenade at Goku, whose back is still turned. Tao then jumps high into the air to avoid the explosion, but doesn't anticipate that Goku's speed and reaction far exceeds even Tao himself, as Goku kicks the grenade back at him, which detonates and seemingly kills the assassin. So you could really say that the plan blew up in his face. For many people, King Piccolo is the first actual main villain in the Dragon Ball franchise. For any new gen fans who might not know of who King Piccolo is, for some reason, there was once a nameless Namekian who landed into Earth and then sought out to become the god of Earth. Due to the nameless Namekian harboring malice in his heart, as his heart must be pure to take on the role, through a ritual, the previous kami of Earth separated the evil part of the nameless Namekian. This demonic form became King Piccolo, the other half of kami. He is also considered to be Piccolo's father, but more accurately, Piccolo is his reincarnation. Unlike General Tao, who possesses basic human abilities, Piccolo Daimao was legitimately a threat to the entire world. He once enslaved the whole planet in utter darkness. That is because King Piccolo is a demon king who commands an army of demons and also possesses insane destructive power compared to what Earth's military can muster. Upon being released from his containment, he defeats Son Goku in his first encounter, and then gather the Dragon Balls and wishes to be young again. He then does something no villain has done directly. He murders Shenron after being restored back to his full power. With his original strength coming back, it seems that no one could stand up to him. However, that is when a much stronger Goku, who increased his strength after drinking the divine water, comes and one-shots Drum, one of King Piccolo's children. Goku then shifts his focus against King Piccolo and is able to dominate the Demon King. But that's when King Piccolo uses Tien as a human shield, threatening to crush his skull. He then damages all of Goku's limbs aside from his right arm conveniently. Confident he would win, he charges at Goku, but that's when Goku blasts a Kamehameha from his right hand, propelling himself towards his enemy in the sky and punching through the Demon King with what appears to be an early version of his Dragon Fist. So I guess you could say that Goku really put a hole through his plans. Piccolo Jr. was the final and strongest antagonist of the OG Dragon Ball. He is the spawn of Demon King Piccolo, reincarnated for the sole purpose of carrying the Demon King's desire for world domination, and most importantly, revenge against Goku. He meets Goku at the World Tournament stage, a match to solidify the status of strongest fighter in the world. Goku, whose friends didn't even recognize at that time, was training under the God of Earth for 3 years in the Temple of Kami. Throughout this whole tournament, Goku has demonstrated power far beyond human comprehension, being able to outclass every single human character, including Tien, whom defeated Goku at one point. During the final, Goku uses his full power against Piccolo and was going to overwhelm him due to his skill and technique. Honestly, this was such a beautiful fight, and it still holds up as one of Dragon Ball's best fights ever, especially when you factor in that this was animated back in the 80s when resources and technology were limited. But do you know what's not limited? The ass beating Goku inflicted on Piccolo. While the fight is definitely even, yes, with two characters taking turns in dominating certain aspects of the fight, Goku manages to absolutely beat down Piccolo at one point, as Goku's trying to win fairly, as he's viewing this as a competition, while Piccolo is genuinely trying to kill Goku. Kame even at one point interferes and blocks Piccolo's punch, and Goku isn't happy with that, and gives Piccolo a free punch to the face. Of course, Piccolo absolutely accepts the free gift and punches Goku in the face. Throughout this whole fight, Piccolo uses everything he can, from going to his giant form to using an explosive wave that destroys the whole ring at one point, but Goku's resolve still remains intact with his quest of winning the battle. During the climax of the fight, Goku picks apart Piccolo and takes over the fight, and seemingly defeated Piccolo. However, due to Goku letting his guard down, he gets blasted through his chest, then gets his legs broken. Even his arms get rendered useless. At this point, every limb Goku has have been severely damaged and is borderline paralyzed. Piccolo ascends to the sky and charges a blast that would surely end Goku and this fight. He fires the blast and creates a massive crater. Believing he has won, Piccolo starts celebrating. He then shifts his focus to the Dragon team with the intent of finishing them off too. However, Krillin points to the sky and we see Goku that has seemingly learned the ability of levitation, as he was able to escape the blast and descend from the sky and headbutts Piccolo, launching him out of the arena, declaring Goku as the winner and strongest fighter under the heavens. I guess you could say that the attack that Goku did really put him ahead.
I told you I'd win!
Vegeta, the Prince of All Saiyans, is the first major antagonist in Dragon Ball Z, as he is the final boss of the Saiyan arc, and is arguably the strongest character in that saga, as even Goku, after training with King Kai, could not defeat Vegeta. While Goku managed to overwhelm Vegeta when he went Kaioken ×3 and then won a beam struggle against him, I'm afraid the tide of battle for Goku completely shifts against him. As soon as Vegeta goes to his ape form, he stomps Goku and takes him out of the fight. In fact, Vegeta was only defeated thanks to the collective efforts of Goku's Spirit Bomb that was given to Krillin that weakened Vegeta, in addition to Yajirobe and finally Gohan, who was the technical reason why Vegeta lost, as Gohan transforms into an ape during the fight and lands on Vegeta, forcing him to retreat and run away. So you can argue that Gohan was the one who beat Vegeta, albeit not by himself. Vegeta retreats as he couldn't handle the weight of this battle.
Get around him!
Frieza is by far the most iconic villain in Dragon Ball. Even his design and character is recognized by non-Dragon Ball fans who never watch the show. Frieza is considered to be the first major boss villain in the series. While Vegeta rebelled against Frieza when he went to seek out the Dragon Balls, he still technically worked for him. Also, Frieza's just built different. He's a character who enslaved galaxies under his reign. His strength stands in a place beyond normal comprehension. He was so strong that he had to mask his real power and use the form that you are seeing to simply not strain himself. And even in this form, his power level is 530,000, stronger than any character in the universe that we saw up to that point. In his suppressed state, Frieza has the power to destroy planets with a single finger. He later on musters the power level of 120 million in his 100% state. In order for Frieza to lose, his opponent Goku fulfilled an ancient alien prophecy and unlocked a power never seen in 1,000 years and became a Super Saiyan, a status bestowed upon the strongest fighter in the universe. Now I know what some might be thinking right now, is that Trunks was the one who actually killed Frieza. And while that's true, Frieza was not the major villain in the arc that Trunks was introduced. Frieza is the major villain in the Frieza arc, so the one that beats him was Goku, who emasculates Frieza during their battle. Goku even declares that this fight is done. The fight isn't even a challenge anymore. He fought and lost against a superior fighter. And to make it worse, he was just a monkey. Given how Frieza's feared like an almighty god in the universe, Frieza was never in a position that someone can talk back to him and not die. This hurt his pride more and made him unable to accept that his power has been eclipsed. As when Goku turns his back against Frieza, Frieza throws a death saucer. But to his detriment, Goku managed to escape them, and in a cruel twist of fate and karma, Frieza's caught by his own attack and gets cut in half. The fight by then is over. And yes, Goku does blast Frieza later on with his iconic "You Fool" moment and beat him. Frieza officially loses by his own attack. I guess that scene just didn't make the cut for me, honestly. Cell is Dragon Ball Z's third major villain and second boss antagonist in the series. Cell is classic Toriyama when it comes to subverting audience expectation, as the whole build-up was regarding the two androids that Trunks told us about from the future. So surely there can't be anything more than that. Well, not only do we have 3 more androids including 16, an enemy that came from an alternate timeline, where Trunks was murdered and his time machine stolen. This menace was Cell, a machine with the objective of coming to the present to absorb 17 and 18 and reach his perfect form. So thanks to Vegeta and then Krillin, who sold out humanity for some Robo-Coochie, Cell becomes perfect. He then created the Cell Games, a competition where he proves that he is the ultimate fighter, as Cell is the cumulative cells and DNA of the strongest fighters that we ever saw. He even possesses their genetic traits and abilities. Like the Namekians, he could regenerate. Like Frieza, he could survive in the vacuum of space. And like the Saiyans, he gets a Zenkai boost after a near-death experience. He was the perfect warrior, and he determined to prove it even at the expense of losing. And that's exactly what happens when Cell realizes Gohan's hidden potential. Cell does the same mistake Vegeta did. As Vegeta's cells are part of him, he wants to make Gohan stronger. He does that through the conventional ways of child abuse and torture, which eventually drives him to go Super Saiyan 2, and then gets utterly humiliated by Gohan as a result. Gohan even punches Cell so hard at one point that Cell spits out Android 18 and reverts back to his semi-perfect state. That's when Cell tries to pull himself up and then comes back as Super Perfect Cell. He then kills Trunks and then critically damages Gohan after he saves Vegeta from the subsequent rage against Cell. That's when Cell comes down and charges a full-powered Kamehameha. He declared to Gohan that with this power, he just won't destroy the Earth, but the entire solar system. Gohan is shaken up and is conceding defeat in his mind. Goku interjects and knocks back some sense into his son, and encourages him that he has what it takes. Goku, being a good father, inspires his son to take the last stand and defend Earth with his Kamehameha. With his renewed resolve, Gohan performs a one-handed Kamehameha in order to challenge Cell's beam. Once Gohan throws that attack, an image of his father appears behind him, metaphorically indicating that Goku's presence is there next to him, guiding him. However, with Gohan being damaged and using one arm, he struggles to push Cell's Kamehameha back. That is when Piccolo, Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien rush in to help Gohan by attacking Cell from behind, but are easily overwhelmed by the bio-android's aura. Witnessing this, Gohan powers up even further, but Cell once again powers up in response. As everything seems to be lost, we hear the sound of a familiar piano. A large, powerful beam crashes down on Cell, almost knocking him to his knees. It was Vegeta, who got over his pride and helps Gohan with the greatest assist. Goku then yells, The result of Gohan's attack completely atomizes Cell, giving us what I would describe to be the perfect ending. Kid Buu is the final major villain of Dragon Ball Z. He is the embodiment of evil given form. He had no feelings or conscience, designed for fear and terror, an instrument of destruction. With Buu released, it started a universe-scale Ragnarok, the systematic destruction of every living organism in the universe. Hundreds of planets reduced to nothing. Galaxies disappearing from existence. The supreme gods who created the universe did not stand a chance against Buu. They were either killed or absorbed by Buu himself. Fortunately for the universe though, Buu was released in an age where the mortals, such as the Saiyans, went through leaps and bounds, where someone like Goku, who fulfilled an ancient alien prophecy that had him achieve the legendary status of Super Saiyan, but he transforms to a power far above that with Super Saiyan 2 that dwarfs the previous form in strength and speed. Even in death, he transcends to a form that surpasses the form which already surpasses the title of the strongest in the universe. He achieves Super Saiyan 3, a form so strong and so incomprehensible in power that it could stand a chance against the God Slayer Kid Buu. They battle it out in the Kaioshin realm. Yes, not a planet, but in fact a realm that is described to be transcendental in size. Even this universe-scale world was almost destroyed by their battle, a fight to determine the fate of the universe. While filler, we even see past villains watching the fight of a lifetime, as they are all in disbelief that this is the same Goku they once fought. However, unfortunately for Goku, even though he has the power of a Super Saiyan 3, he is still dealing with an immortal demonic force that seemingly has no end to his stamina. As the more energy Goku expends in the fight, the weaker he becomes, as Kid Buu heals himself from any damage taken by SSJ3 Goku. This is when Goku realizes that he doesn't have the necessary stamina to maintain Super Saiyan 3, as his alive body isn't used to the form as opposed to his dead body. Vegeta then comes up with the plan for Goku to defeat Buu. He instructs Dende to use Namek's Dragon Ball to bring back the Earth, and then revive everyone Buu killed except for the really bad people. Goku thinks that Vegeta wants Gotenks and Ultimate Gohan to fight Buu. Vegeta says no, and it's time for the human race as a whole to fight for itself, the Spirit Bomb.
The Spirit Bomb!
That's your big idea! A Spirit Bomb?!
But not any regular Spirit Bomb, a Super Spirit Bomb powered not by the ki of everyone only, but their own souls as well. So eventually, thanks to Mr. Satan, everyone agrees to give Goku their power. Goku then spawns a large side spirit bomb. He throws it on Kid Buu, but then it is caught by Kid Buu's obscene strength. He then pushes it back to Goku. Vegeta thinks quickly and remembers they have one more wish. There they wish for Goku to regain his strength. Goku powers up to Super Saiyan and it's Sayonara Buu, as Goku sends back the Genki Dama and atomizes Buu into nothing, giving us the beautiful ending that we deserve. Oh god, that was really bad. Although Golden Frieza was part of my movie villain video, he's still an anime main villain as well, as Dragon Ball Super made the infamous decision of retelling the events of both Battle of Gods and Resurrection of F. There we see the rebirth of Frieza. Upon realizing that Goku managed to overcome Majin Buu, Frieza notes that Goku is a lot stronger than he could ever imagine, as his father warned him once about two people that he should never f with. One, Beerus the god of destruction, and the embodiment of evil, Majin Buu. This is when Akira Toriyama and Toei Animation had to come up with a way to give Frieza an obscure power-up, as Frieza notes that he's a genius who never once trained once in his life, and all he needs is to train for 4 months. This short amount of time has conveniently shot his power from being as strong as Super Saiyan Goku on Namek to be on par with Super Saiyan Blue. While Saiyans have limitless potential, Frieza is on a whole other spectrum. He achieves his golden form and could have overwhelmed Goku during his battle, but he was carried away as he never adapted to the form long enough for it to be sustainable. The form drained a lot of his stamina and that was his ultimate downfall, as after Vegeta switches out with Goku, he reveals to Frieza that not only did he unlock the legendary status of Super Saiyan, but he also dipped his toes in the realm of the gods and became a Super Saiyan god, Super Saiyan, a form so powerful that he easily defeats and pummels Golden Frieza. Just when Vegeta was going to destroy Frieza, Toei pulls a fast one on every Vegeta fan as Frieza destroys the entire planet by simply tapping on the ground in his suppressed, damaged final form. He destroys the whole planet. That's when Whis' divine intervention interjects and reverses time by 3 minutes. This gives Goku the chance to correct his mistake, but to the detriment of all of Vegeta's fans who wanted to see the same prince get his deserved revenge, as Goku finishes off Frieza with a Kamehameha. Okay, I initially was reluctant to include Hit because he wasn't really beaten. But that's actually technically not true, as even though Hit was the strongest member of Universe 6 Warriors and managed to beat Vegeta comprehensively thanks to his hack's abilities of skipping time, he was almost overwhelmed by Goku's Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10. Though Goku decides that he would forfeit the match and give Hit the win, that's when Monaka, the weakest participant, comes as the last man standing for Universe 7. Hit, who honors Goku's decision to forfeit, does the same as he loses the fight on purpose from Monaka. So yeah, technically Monaka was the one who defeated Hit.
So that's how it is.
Come on!
Zamasu is the final boss villain of the Goku Black arc. He is the fusion of a Supreme Kai prodigy and a Saiyan prodigy. He is justice given form, declaring himself to be the embodiment of justice and beauty, desiring to be worshipped and revered, as well as declaring himself to be the most powerful god of all. And to be fair, he is a villain so powerful that not many people give credit to. His power was stated to be incomprehensible to even the gods themselves, as he stood in in a place that the gods could not grasp upon. He managed to one-shot both of Vegeta and Goku's Super Saiyan Blue effortlessly. This adds Merge Zamasu to the special list of the few characters who forced Goku and Vegeta to fuse. With not enough time to teach Vegeta the dance, Goku opts with the earrings. Vegeta agrees after pretending like he would never join bodies with Goku for like the 50th time, and then summons Vegito, who immediately powers up to Super Saiyan Blue. Vegeta, who is considered to be one of the strongest characters in the Dragon Ball show, even stronger than Lord Beerus himself, struggles a little against Merge Zamasu, and that is because Merge Zamasu himself is a Potara fusion as well. But even then, he got overwhelmed by Vegito and was going to seemingly lose the fight. But fortunately for him, due to Vegito expending way too much power in Super Saiyan Blue, they defuse. And when all hope seems to be lost, the dumbest conclusion to one of the best concepts of a Dragon Ball arc happens. Trunks creates some sort of spirit bomb from all 6 living people that are still alive and managed to beat Zamasu because fuck you, that's why. Honestly, as much as we can entertain a bunch of different headcanons, the execution was just awful and sloppy. But it doesn't stop there because Zamasu comes back as the wallpaper. I'm actually not kidding, because Zamasu somehow takes over the universe. He actually becomes the universe. Merge Zamasu at this point, to be fair to him, becomes transcendental himself, engulfing the entire universe. In fact, this single-handedly makes Zamasu the most dangerous villain we have ever seen in the Dragon Ball main canon show. He becomes a threat to every timeline as well. This is when Goku was like,
The fuck is this right here? Oh, I got his ass now.
And summons Zeno, who decide to not only erase Zamasu, but also future Trunks' timeline. I honestly wish somebody would just erase this ending. Like, I'm sorry guys, I know I just went off script, but just remembering and talking about this ending really makes me sad. Did you guys think this was a good ending? Because in my opinion, they really did Trunks really bad here.
Yes, it should. I'll destroy it.
Hurry! Get in the time machine before it's too late!
All of existence, go away!
Jiren is not really a villain, but he is considered to be the major boss antagonist of the Tournament of Power. His character, to put it simply, is that he is way too strong. In fact, Jiren is the first character in the series that is officially stated to be stronger than a god of destruction. It is not speculated or theorized. We have been told and then we were reaffirmed by it. Whis initially mentions that there is a universe where a mortal lives who is stronger than a god of destruction, and that god of destruction was even stronger than Beerus himself. Although, Beerus mentions that he only lost to him in an arm wrestling match. However, it is still impressive that Jiren was the first character to be confirmed to be stronger than Destroyer God. In the Tournament of Power, that is shown clearly. Goku shoots a Kamehameha in base form and Jiren tanks it like it's nothing. Goku goes Super Saiyan and punches and it doesn't even make him flinch. Goku goes Super Saiyan 2 and it only slightly makes his head tilt. It's only when he goes God mode does Jiren bother to block Goku's attack with one finger, and only starts to fight back after he goes Super Saiyan Blue. But even that doesn't work. Neither does Goku Kaioken times 20 does. In fact, Goku had to dip further and enter angel levels of power. After unlocking Ultra Instinct, he managed to go toe-to-toe against Jiren. This made Goku fight on almost equal grounds against Jiren, but loses due to the form being incomplete. However, once Goku masters the form, he enters a level of power that every single god in the stadium stood up in unison from admiration and respect to the mortal that entered the realm that even the gods couldn't. With this power, Goku ascends to a level where he could overwhelm a full-power Jiren and almost defeat him. However, due to Goku being unable to control the Master Ultra Instinct form, he suffers the side effects of using the form. This puts an end to the 1v1 battle we have seen, as eventually Goku, Frieza, and Android 17 all work together to eliminate Jiren from the Tournament of Power.
Do it! Goku! Frieza! Go!
Contestant 17. You've prevailed. What will you wish for?
The entity that does not fear any god, he is Moro, consumer of worlds. Life's creation is food for him to devour. He is the planet eater who even predates Majin Buu himself. He was sentenced to death after being captured by the original Grand Supreme Kai, who used all of his god powers to seal Moro's magic, which weakened him as a result. Although Moro was sentenced to death, he was way too powerful to be killed. He stayed locked for millions of years. However, upon gaining back some of his magic, Moro escapes the prison. He makes way to Namek and successfully wishes to regain his original power. With this newfound power, Moro is seemingly unstoppable. Now, without spoiling much of the plot, especially for the viewers who never read the manga and are waiting for the anime, I'll put a timestamp where you can skip past the manga section of this video so I don't spoil the ending for anyone who wants to read the manga, because it is actually really good. Because let me tell you something, there is a reason why Moro looks like a goat. The conclusion of this arc was very satisfying as well, bringing back Goku's perfected Ultra Instinct and seeing Goku acting more like the Goku we all love to see. Not to go on a complete tangent and start reviewing the arc, but there is one scene that I absolutely love about this arc. Early on, before confronting Moro, Goku tries to locate him, but it was Moro who found him. Vegeta tries to do the same, but Goku panics and tells him not to. Vegeta asks if his power was significant. Goku says it isn't. Vegeta then replies, then it must be God Ki. Goku says it isn't that either. But then he follows up with saying one of the most chilling things I've read in the Dragon Ball manga. Goku describes the power he felt like it was a whole lot of people screaming in pain. Goosebumps. Toyotaro does a brilliant job paneling this as well, as he separates the dialogue to give the reader a moment to reflect on what Goku's concerned expression meant. This sets the tone for the entire arc from start to finish, and like most villains obviously, Moro goes through power-ups and becomes stronger than older villains that Goku and Vegeta faced off against, resulting into Goku himself getting stronger. The return of Ultra Instinct, like I said earlier, was done brilliantly. It gave a mixture of when Goku first unlocked SSJ on Namek and Gohan unlocking Super Saiyan 2 vs Cell. He even demonstrates a new profound ability in creating an avatar of himself similar to the Susanoo from Naruto. With this power, Goku overpowers Moro and defeats him. Honestly, I can go on and on this arc, but it deserves its own whole video, so let me know if you want to hear about it later on. Gas is considered to be the boss villain of the Granola arc. He is the strongest in the universe. That is because he made a wish with the Dragon Balls to become the strongest by sacrificing hundreds of years of his lifespan. Gas belonged to the Heaters, a family of intel brokers who sought out to one day gain control over the galactic army from Emperor Frieza and use it to rule the universe. Contrary to what people might think, Gas is a slightly more complex than what people might give him credit for, as his drive and desire for power and his evolution from a loyal soldier to a desperate character is the combination of insecurity, guilt, and a desire for validation. Even after being the strongest character, he wishes to be validated. It was clear that this journey was one of self-destruction. His attempt to outdo everyone to prove his strength has led to his demise. In his final moments, he expressed regret and frustration, realizing that his desire for power was never the answer. He had allowed himself to be consumed by ambition and had sacrificed everything, including his physical and mental health. In the process, this showed clearly on how he went from a calm, collected fighter to a raging beast as the battle went on. Though with this power that Gas had, he could take on both Goku and Vegeta's new forms of True Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego together at the same time. But that is when somebody arrives that no one expected, the Emperor of the Universe himself, Frieza. After discovering a place similar to the hyperbolic time chamber, he trains for 10 years outside the universe macrocosm, giving him the ability to transform beyond his golden form. He becomes Black Frieza. With this power, he one-shots Gas with a single strike. What many people might have missed in this scene is that if you notice, Gas's wish works like a curse, meaning every time he's surpassed in battle, he gets stronger, and as a consequence, gets older. You know what this means. Frieza literally forced Gas's body to reach a point where the wish itself killed him as his body got so old that it crumbled and disintegrated. I guess you could say that the blinding light of a Super Saiyan is fading into black. Okay, since we reached this point, I must note that I'm making this video before the return of the Dragon Ball Super manga, as the last main villain is Cell Max at this point. The conclusion is basically the same as the movie. Therefore, I won't dwell much, unfortunately, as we still have more villains to go through. And I already talked about these events in the movie villain video that I made previously, as eventually he was overpowered by Beast Gohan's special beam cannon that defeated him, giving Gohan his third major win. You can also argue this was his fourth if you want to count the Garlic Jr. arc, where Gohan defeated him by destroying the Makio Star and sealing Garlic Jr. once again.
Hear me, Tuffles! This is your ruler, baby! The time has finally come for us to take our revenge on the Saiyans. The last of their race is here before me. Send me your energy, my faithful ones! Send me your spite and your malice!
Baby is the first main boss villain of Dragon Ball GT and arguably one of the best villains in the franchise. This has to do with his motivation. His main goal was to take revenge on the Saiyan race, whom he blames for the destruction of his home planet, Planet Plant, which was later renamed Planet Vegeta after the Saiyans took over. His hatred for the Saiyans is central to his motivations. Baby was originally a small intelligent parasite that was created from the last surviving Tuffles who stored their consciousness and hatred in the form of this creature. He was then found and revived by Dr. Mew, a mad scientist. As a parasite, Baby can invade and possess the bodies of other beings. His main method of taking control is to infect a host, usually by entering their body and gradually taking over their mind. He starts with small targets but works his way up to larger, more powerful beings. That is because just like some of the villains you have seen on this list, many of them could not immediately compete with the evolution of the Saiyan race, as they have become the most dominant species at this point, with Goku alone in his base form possessing strength that dwarfs any version of himself in DBZ. His first target was Trunks. By causing a wound on him, he is able to physically enter Trunks' body. However, he was soon overwhelmed by Trunks, who goes Super Saiyan 2. Baby, who is just in his first stage, could not deal with Trunks' strength and then is forced out of his body. He then escapes and makes his way to planet Earth. Due to his power increasing, he confronts Goten. Yes, Goten, who actually does something for once. Goten impressively showcases incredible fighting prowess. Despite Goten himself noting that he has never sent someone as powerful as this prior, Baby manages to wound base Goten. Goten then transforms into a Super Saiyan, and then Baby enters his body. There he managed to take over his mind and go through his memories. As Baby looks for the strongest fighter on Earth, he comes up with a name: Vegeta. Though Vegeta's far more powerful for Goten to take him on despite the possession boost that Baby gives. He first finds Gohan, who was confirmed to be as strong if not stronger than his DBZ counterpart, since Gohan in GT kept up with his training. Baby manages to also wound him during the fight and take over his body as soon as Gohan revealed his full power. With Goten and Gohan under his control, they seek out Vegeta. Prompting him to also reveal his full power, Baby enters Vegeta's body and is now the strongest being on Earth. With Goku, Trunks, and Pan unaware of these events transpiring, they come back to Earth after gathering the Dragon Balls. There, Goku in his base outclasses both Goten and Gohan, who were possessed by the villain Baby. That is when Baby Vegeta reveals himself. Goku now must face against his greatest rival, who's been possessed and got a power boost as a result. Baby doesn't mess around as he goes through a transformation and becomes Super Baby. And then he does a pseudo Super Saiyan God ritual that makes him enter a Super Saiyan 3-like form. If you think about it, his first form is Super Saiyan. His second form with the wild spiky hair and lightning is reminiscent of Super Saiyan 2. And in his final form, his hair lengthens and his eyebrows disappear like a Super Saiyan 3. This theory becomes more prominent when you realize that when Vegeta goes Uzaro, he could fight equally against Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Even the GT Perfect Files theorizes that the final form of Baby is Super Saiyan 3. But I digress. The final form of Baby clearly displayed the colossal difference in power, as he's able to tank Goku's Super Saiyan 3 form like it's nothing. Luckily for Goku though, he's able to transform into a great ape in their second encounter, and becomes a Super Saiyan while in his Uzora form. And after being able to remember who he was, he mutates to his ultimate Super Saiyan form in the GT timeline. With this newfound strength, Goku's power is pushed pushed to a level where he absolutely overwhelms Super Baby Vegeta's final form, even able to tank his revenge Death Ball head on with no damage. A move so strong that it could atomize you on the molecular level, so much so that your soul will be destroyed and you cannot even be wished back by the Dragon Balls. Baby uses the power of the Blitz Waves to transform into a Golden Ozaru, which slightly tips the scale into his favor. However, not for long, as when Goku does a similar pseudo-god ritual, he enters a Super Saiyan Limit Breaker form. This makes him overpower Golden Ozaru Baby and defeat him as a result. After destroying his tail, Baby tries to make his escape and flee the scene. That's when Goku launches a Kamehameha into space that perfectly catches Baby's spaceship and destroys him as he's sent into the sun to ensure nothing remains. Honestly, in the beginning, I didn't really want to spend so much time recapping and summarizing the entire arc, but I really wanted to detail the build up to the final battle, as even though I pretty much told you what happened, I think this arc is still worth watching because it really does have a lot of cool tidbits and highlights and even some awesome character interactions and development. As for Baby himself, he's a villain who is every bit of DBZ's major villains rolled into one. His hatred and lore ties to the Saiyans, just like Frieza. He is also a biomechanical organism who was created by a scientist who literally has the same design as Dr. Gero. And let's not forget that he starts weak and gains power steadily, so that's basically Cell. And just like Boo, he has abilities such as taking over people's powers. And of course, if you want to count Dragon Ball Super, Goku Black is a main villain who had his body taken by someone who hates mortals and ended up having white hair as one of his final forms. Similar to Baby Vegeta, who got controlled by a villain and had white hair as part of his design. Though, on this topic, let me know which you prefer, Goku Black or Baby Vegeta.
Let him escape, are you, Grandpa?
No, Ben, don't worry. Perfect. Any second now.
No! This...
Super Android 17 is the second major boss villain in Dragon Ball GT. He is the overpowered fusion of both Android 17 and Hellfighter 17, whom were created by the two mad scientists Dr. Mew and Dr. Gero, combining both of their brilliant minds. With Dr. Gero's exceptional knowledge on creating artificial life forms and Dr. Mew's unparalleled knowledge on mutants, they managed to create a stronger version of the previous android we know, Hellfighter 17, who even before fusing could box against Vegeta, though Vegeta seems to be confident that he could beat him. That is when it's revealed to Vegeta that he was fighting the mutant version of 17, and the old Android 17 shows up after being influenced by his successor, Hellfighter 17. As soon as they fuse together, they become Super 17, and as you know, no one can beat him when he's Super 17.
Nobody can beat me when I'm Super 17. Nobody can beat me when I'm Super 17. Nobody can beat me when I'm Super 17. Nobody can beat me when I'm Super 17. Nobody can beat me when I'm Super 17.
Well, that's at least true for the Dragon team, who could not put a dent on Super 17. They get completely wrecked and outclassed. Even Majub, who was confirmed to be stronger than SSJ3 Goku in the previous arc, attacks Super 17, and 17 shrugs off every attack like it's nothing. After Super 17 defeats everyone except Vegeta, who remained strong and the last man standing,
Goku ってバカ野郎かナンバーワンはこの俺様だカロットなんかお呼びじゃねえこのベジータ様さえいれば
10 seconds later.
カロット
あとはオラに任してくれ
Goku finally managed to land on the battlefield, and shows us exactly what the GT stands in Dragon Ball GT, as when he simply powers up to Super Saiyan, he does infinitely better than any of the other fighters, even punching 17 at one point and makes him fly to the other side of the planet. However, when Super 17 starts fighting more seriously, Goku's forced to use his ultimate form and go Super Saiyan 4. And if you notice, their fight was reminiscent in episode 86 of Dragon Ball Super, where we see 17 and Goku fight in Under the Sunset and Above the Ocean, similarly to their fight in Dragon Ball GT, an homage if you like. But unlike his Super counterpart, Super 17 has the hidden ability to absorb any ki-based attack into his body. He doesn't even need to use his hands like Android 19 or Dr. Gero. As long as the blast comes near him, he could absorb it and become stronger as a result. A mistake that would have costed Super Saiyan 4 Goku dearly, as at one point Goku fires one of his strongest moves, the ×10 Kamehameha, a red variation that is so powerful compared to even the Super Kamehameha. Super 17 tanks it by absorbing the whole attack. By the time Goku realizes what was happening, it was already too late, as Super 17 has absorbed enough energy to grow strong enough to overwhelm Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Goku even attempts to sacrifice himself to destroy Super 17, but it is unsuccessful due to Super 17 putting up an energy barrier that protects him from the explosion. As a result, Goku's alive, but as a consequence, reverts to base form. Before Super 17 can obliterate Goku, Android 18 comes to Goku's aid and berates 17 for losing his independent will and murdering her husband Krillin. Android 18 then gets mad and distracts 17 by shooting energy blast. Goku notices that while Super 17 is in his absorption pose, he creates a shield around him that absorbs all of Android 18's energy blast from. It is at this point that Goku realizes Super 17's sole weakness. When Super 17 absorbs energy, he is actually vulnerable to being attacked. Goku then charges Super 17 with a Super Dragon Fist, going straight through him. With an entire hole in his body, Super 17 loses his ability to absorb energy, allowing Goku to shoot a final assault that finally kills the android once and for all. It is later on explained that Android 17 had been influencing Super 17 to reveal his weakness and leave himself vulnerable for attack.
This is for Krillin! What? It was Dragon Fist! And yet, it will only make me stronger!
Yes, we did it, Krillin.
Shenron is the third and final major boss villain in Dragon Ball GT. He is one of the 7 Shadow Dragons. They are evil beings created by the overuse and built up negative energies of the Dragon Balls over the series, a direct consequence of the numerous uses of the Dragon Balls. Every time a wish was made with the balls, negative energy was released alongside with the positive energy. In response, the Dragon Balls would absorb the negative energy and disperse it harmlessly over the years. The fight against Shenron, who absorbs the Dragon Balls into his being and becomes Omega Shenron. This was in response to Goku, who used the Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker and almost defeated him. However, after becoming Omega Shenron, Goku had no solution. The gap was so wide that even at one point Omega Shenron walked right through a Kamehameha and sustained no damage. Goku even performs his ultimate move, the Super Dragon Fist, and while it worked, Omega Shenron managed to regenerate after the impact. Out of desperation, Goku pulls a Majin Vegeta and tries to pull himself up and take Omega with him. But the man himself, Vegeta, comes and tells Goku that he tried that shit before and it didn't work. Also, what's with Goku relentlessly trying to blow himself up? Dude should seriously be on a suicide watch. Vegeta doesn't come empty-handed though, as thanks to his off-screen training and Bulma creating a Bloodwave machine, this managed to amp Vegeta's power and made him go into an Uzaro. He seems to be losing control briefly in the beginning, before revealing that he would never let his own reason be overpowered by the primal mind. He then goes to Golden Uzaro before immediately morphing to Super Saiyan 4, Vegeta being the second user of this form. I also really like what Vegeta says right here.
At long last, I've ascended. Well done, you amaze me.
Goku and Vegeta then stand side by side and power up, which pushes Omega Shenron from their sheer power. Goku's ready to fight alongside Vegeta to the death, but Vegeta drops yet another banger right here.
Curious? Search your feelings, you know it as well as I. It is true. Be the first time, but if I have to die again, I'm ready. No, there's no need. When there's fusion,
Yes, Vegeta actually shows growth and maturity by suggesting that they need to fuse together. Like, I know Dragon Ball GT gets a lot of bad rep for being a show revolved around Goku, but honestly, characters are far more mature in this show. But I digress. With their fusion, they summoned the cocky belligerent Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, considered by many the most powerful warrior in any Dragon Ball media by some fans, as Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta toys with Omega Shenron. Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 was so incomprehensibly stronger than Omega Shenron that Omega couldn't even register how many times he got hit. Super Saiyan 4 is described to be the ultimate Super Saiyan form in the GT timeline, and merely calling it as the fourth transformation is simply out of convenience. That is because the form has been described to take the user to their utmost limitations, meaning you are looking at the theoretical strongest version of Gogeta that could ever exist, which could make sense why he had red hair, as some fans used to theorize this was God mode, or maybe Super Saiyan 5. Though I personally believe the red hair is just to make Gogeta stand out and not look like Goku. But whatever you choose to believe, there is one thing you cannot deny: the design is simply iconic. But anyways, despite Gogeta being able to outclass Omega Shenron every aspect, even kicking his negative karma ball out of space and transferring his ki into it that it goes out of space and dispels the negative energy around the planet, unfortunately, Gogeta realizes he isn't in a movie, and he's in the anime show, meaning he's going to have to defuse and get the Vegito treatment, as when he was going to defeat Omega Shenron, they defused due to the form's obscene power. This leaves Goku and Vegeta completely defenseless as Omega Shenron overwhelms both Goku and Vegeta. Omega Shenron fires a negative energy ball that is a threat to destroy the planet. Vegeta stands in the way to defend it, but in order to save Vegeta and subsequently everyone else, Goku shoves Vegeta out of the way and attempts to block Omega Shenron's attack in base form, but ultimately fails. A massive explosion occurs and Vegeta's the first one to realize the brutal truth: Goku has died. Vegeta then instructs the younger generation to escape the planet, hoping they could live to fight another day, as Vegeta decides to stay and fight alone, nobly sacrificing his life for the others like a true leader. Although the other Saiyans eventually came back to help Vegeta, it is to no avail, as Omega Shenron terrorizes everyone around and looks like he's about to win. But that is when something rises from the ashes. It is Goku. He is alive, and he is holding the fate of the universe in his hands. He has spawned the largest spirit bomb in the franchise, a universal spirit bomb, powered by the energy of every living being in the macrocosm in addition to his own strength. Omega Shenron panics and starts attacking Goku, but none of his attacks damage him. This is where the biggest theory regarding this episode starts, as Goku looks like he has become an immortal being. Even though a bit ambiguous, this was done purposely by the writers themselves. They said Goku didn't actually die, but he had become something else. Lots of people theorize, including myself, that Goku made a wish to be able to defeat Omega, and the real Shenron gave Goku immortality. And before you say it, this is not me reaching, as Goku was heard having a conversation with what seems to be Shenron, as Goku says he needs help and this is the last time they will use the Dragon Balls as a promise. Even later at the end of the episode, it is clear that Shenron and Goku had a deal or some sort of interaction, and the only time that might have occurred was during the time Goku tries to block Omega Shenron's attack. So it is very likely that Goku became an immortal being. And while others speculate it was just temporarily, it is still interesting to note that Goku exists at the end of DBGT despite him being 150 years old. But let's go back to the Spirit Bomb. Goku launches his final attack and destroys Omega Shenron, completely restoring order and peace to the entire universe. With this win, Goku, as you expect, has the highest main villain kill count, as surprise surprise, he is the main character. Gohan has 4 points if you count his Garlic Jr. win. Munaka hilariously beat Hit, so he has a point. 17 technically gets a point for helping Frieza and Goku beating Jiren, and Frieza himself, despite being a villain, he managed to beat 2 other main villains, one of them being Gas. Lastly, Omni King defeated Zamasu, unless you guys want to attribute that win to future Trunks, because I know what some of you guys might be protesting. But MoodZi, Trunks killed a lot of main villains like Frieza and Cell, and also stopped the revival of Buu in Dragon Ball Super. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm only counting villains that had the whole arc revolved around them. Therefore, Trunks was robbed from any real points in this video. However, if you want to talk about an actual robbery, then the real one was Vegeta vs Frieza in Resurrection F. That should have been a Vegeta win. Like, I know the movies usually want the main character to take the center stage and be the one to get the win. The anime had every chance to rectify this and give Vegeta his deserved W. I feel like it would have been a really nice addition, and it would have swayed a lot of the fans to talk about how the anime did Vegeta justice. And in my own opinion, Vegeta should have also got at least one major win in the manga, especially after unlocking Ultra Ego, a form that otherwise can be considered his best form to date. Of course, we can all guess who's going to be the one who beat the main villain in the new series in Dragon Ball Daima. Let's face it, it will be most likely Goku, unless it's going to be like a mini version of Vegito. I don't know if they introduce fusion or something. It's been heavily implied that fusion is going to be part of Dragon Ball Daima, but we know how the anime likes to treat fusions. But let me know what your theories are. Who's the final villain in Dragon Ball Daima? I honestly have my opinions, but I will leave it to another video.
貴様生きていたのか。
まだまだ死ねねえな。海王様、サンキュー、宇宙のみんな。神様みたい。
Like I said early in this video, the villains serve a much bigger purpose in the show than just being characters that outdo each other with the level of destruction. They represent the growth a character must overcome, not just physically, but mentally as well, exploring themes such as growth, resilience, and even sacrifice. The relentless pursuit of power is one of the core values the show has taught us. No matter how good you are, there is always someone better and stronger that will challenge you. And you as a person need to evolve, adapt, and change to the stronger version of yourself in order to overcome these roadblocks. While it is important to always win, it's always in defeat when you learn the most about yourself. With loss, you gain perspective. You come back with a purpose, learning humility and embracing responsibility. This is why Dragon Ball is always going to be one of the most influential shows in my life. And if you also want to be like me and evolve to be a better person, then liking this video and commenting your favorite villain will mean a lot to me. Also, if you want to watch a video on how every movie villain was defeated, then please click on the screen. But as I always tell you, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And have a good day. Peace.